What are we at, 81?
Yeah, we got 9 more to go.
91. Podcast 91, 5:15 Thursday, April 25th. A lot of orders out there shipping. Lots of orders. Fucking lots of gym equipment we just moved. We got the rubber mats down. All the gym equipment has rubber feet. Rubber feet doesn't move well on rubber mats. It drags, and then it wants to shift and move your rubber mats. So when you put all the rubber mats down, which we have, I don't know, 100?
A lot
of rubber mats are down. The rubber mats, I'm confident, are all the same size, but they're not lining up, which means the wall is crooked, which we knew.
Yeah, that's the wall's crooked.
So we're like, are we going to cut a 1/4 inch here? Or are we going to cut a 1/4 there and slide it back? Like, just line them up on the front, make a gap on the back, we'll hide it with something else. So that's all good. Everything's in there. I think everything's in there. I think everything's back in. You know what? Lawnmower is out back. It's right out back.
Yeah, lawnmower is out back, and your visor, your glasses are sitting right in the middle of the road.
My goggles. Yeah, I left them there so that I wouldn't forget them when I went to move the lawnmower. Let me tell him real quick.
I heard the truck go around. Did he go somewhere?
I heard the port. I heard one of the cars.
I thought it was a truck.
Maybe it is one. Why is this not? Hey, lawnmower's out back. Get my goggles also. Podcast 85, Skully, the Marpat chest rig. I got a tool bag. Frist. I got a tool bag. Plus, I have Marpat hat I wear every day. I do have a pit bull that I do train. P.S. John, my pit bull would look good in a harness. I keep seeing in the live videos. Thanks, guys, for the podcast. I don't know who this is.
You're going to want to get something really bright to offset that, because eventually people aren't going to be able to see you anymore, and they're going to think you're a ghost or a spirit because they're going to hear you talking, but they won't be able to see you. So
True Baller
go
would just
easy with that Marpat.
Tattoo his whole body Marpat. I could tattoo you Marpat. It's just little squares. I could totally do that.
See, that's the thing about Marpat. Everybody thinks they can do some Marpat shit until you got to do Marpat shit.
No, I can do it. Well, here's what we do.
Even the best Cerakoter in southern Tennessee can't.
Because he's a graffiti artist. He uses spray cans.
Can't do Marpat.
Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to have 3 guns.
3 guns.
Loaded up 3 colors.
3 colors.
And and then we'll put it down. We're going to go. And we'll put it down. Go.
This is going to be a long day.
Have you not seen Derek tattoo? I'll do it faster than that.
Maybe.
We got this. I'll bring Justin Souders in. He'll do a little.
No.
Get Hugo on you.
No. No.
See, you're not committed to the Marpat lifestyle. You're scared.
I'm not. I've already done the Marpat lifestyle. I've got nothing to prove. I've got nothing to prove.
We can put some nice AOR2 on you.
Definitely not. See, that's where the fuck up would be. You would think you were doing Marpat, and then it would be AOR2. So I'd have to get like a skin graft or something to take that off.
Did you see? You ever watch that show Navy SEALs? Is it SEALs or Six or what's the
I
show?
don't know. I've seen it like one time, but they always want to try and stuff some fucking female in there to make some sort of...
Well, that's their CIA guy. Their CIA chick.
Yeah, well...
She's hot.
That's not really how it works.
That is how it works.
No, it's not how it works.
So, do you know Tyler Gray's the producer? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I saw it last night.
I mean, it's... From a gear perspective and, the tactics, they're doing a good job, but, it's just more bullshit.
No, that's fucking cool. And did you know... Speaking of Tyler Gray, you know Jack Osborne?
Yeah, Jack Osborne, yeah.
Because I put them together. I met Jack and Tyler both from the same place, right? You know he has multiple sclerosis?
I did not know that.
He has a TV show. It's on its 5th season, or I don't know if it's an actual TV show or it's a internet TV show or something. But Jack Osborne has MS. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
CV, curriculum vitae, I presume he means. Bona fides is Latin as well as CV. Love Trump's plan to bring the illegals to sanctuary cities. It's brilliant, and the reactions from Democrats was priceless. Razor. Mower.
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 It's a mower.
I mowed today.
Yeah.
Did you see? I was
I
really
didn't see any
fast.
mowing, though.
Holy shit! I mowed the entire property.
There's still shit all back here.
Well, that's because that's my what do you call green belt?
Oh, that's your green belt.
That's
All
my
right.
green belt zone.
That's good. AOC will appreciate you leaving a green
Have
belt.
you seen all the animals that are on the property? Dude, I caught a fucking king snake. We've been on the property 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
When we moved on the property, there was not a single squirrel. Like, you couldn't find a fucking squirrel anyway. Now we got squirrels all over. I never saw any snakes. Like, we turned over fucking everything looking for snakes. Never any snakes. I caught a king snake yesterday and caught a king snake today. Big one. The big one's probably going to put him in the woodpile. Well, we put the big one over there in the one because he'll end up eating the little one. Animals fucking everywhere, man. Fucking rabbits every morning. Rabbits at the front. Every night when we come back from like on a weekend or something, rabbits right there. All the trees are doing them awesome.
I think I have had an uptick in squirrels and turkeys. Squirrels and turkeys. That's it.
We're about to start feeding them. I'm gonna throw. We had these awesome, man. We had these fucking awesome squirrel feeders. They were like green rubberized mesh. You hang them. Black tar sunflower seeds.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, there's a few of them here. But we need like we need to make some because Tractor Supply used to sell these. You cannot find them. I find them online on Amazon, right? Not available. But they're squirrel feeders and black tar sunflower seeds. The squirrels fucking love them. And if you feed them that, if they have that, they won't eat all your other shit. Like
you gotta
if they
make
have
them
that.
You got to make it an obstacle course though, where they got to go over a wire.
It's
and
pretty
down
cool,
a rope
yeah.
And up a
Well,
thing.
if that's the case, then you have to give them bird feeders and not you have to not want them to eat that shit. There's some crazy squirrel antics.
Yeah, obstacle course.
You can see that at Jaeger's house. So we're about to put feed back in those feeders and start spraying feed out on a timer again. It is brilliant, and the reactions from Democrats was priceless. Mark Dice had a great video about it. Great and entertaining podcast as always. Blake Jones says, "Is it bad I want to take another tactical response class just so I can come to buy SOE?" Blake Jones, the truth is that you should come to SOE, and since you're here, take attack response class. If you have enough money after you buy all the shit you want.
Yeah.
And if you set that up right, we'll even feed you, we'll even sell you lunch.
Because the truth be told, you really just need the gear. You don't need to go to those classes.
Yeah, if you have the gear, you're not.
You got the gear. I mean,
yeah.
You just gotta have the gear.
Yeah, buy a bunch of tourniquets and shit,
Yes,
and then you won't
okay.
ever have to use them. If you don't have it, you're definitely gonna need it. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that. Think positive thoughts. Positive things will happen.
Positive thoughts. Oh,
boom! Padow! How you like me now? A little birdie told me this podcast will never end. We killed that bird. We ate it for lunch. Well, I just lied, but all you all who keep asking about its ending at episode 100, just enjoy what we are getting now. We will deal with that bridge when we cross it. I built fences for a couple of years and still do it when I'm asked for help. You can fill the hole around the post with Quikrete dry, and it will pull the moisture from the soil and set. If you are building a fence in ground that's mainly clay, mix it first. What do you all think about the militia in Arizona who detained 300 border jumpers at one time? I didn't hear about it. I applaud them for it. Doctors and surgeries. I was supposed to have 2 inner body fusions on my back at the same time in 2016. I had a second opinion and learned after 4 years, surgery or not, I would feel exactly the same statistically. I backed out at the last minute after being told I would be paralyzed in 6 months if I didn't have it. Fast forward 3 years now, I walked in SOE on my own 2 feet last week, started working out, and gradually the pain lessened. Range of motion improved. My wife and I have been out of the gym now for about 8 months because of another injury that occurred. We will be starting back in a few weeks.
as far as the border thing, there have been individuals down on the border who've been doing this for 10 years plus, and it's been no big deal in the sense of they're not really detaining them. They're just like, hey, look at us, and then the Mexicans are like, oh, okay, I guess we got caught, and they actually call Border Patrol and say, hey, there's fucking 25 of these guys here. They're just sitting waiting for you to show up.
The Border Patrol's like, do we have any dope? Nope, let them go.
It is just becoming newsworthy because Democrats do not want that to happen. They do not want regular citizens enforcing the law. So it's a problem. And look, if you're a felon and you're in the group,
yep, you're gonna be in trouble.
And you're a felon and you're in that group, and one of your buddies goes, "Hey, you would look so much cooler if you were holding a gun in this picture." Don't do it. I know you'll look cooler, but don't do it. That's the only reason why anybody's even talking about this is because the guy who was there that was in charge was holding a fucking gun, and he's a felon. So just don't do it.
I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, they arrested him. They arrested him.
Federal. So that's 5 years.
We'll see. I think they're gonna, because they're kind of pushing this white supremacist bullshit, it's totally bullshit. And I think they might just be like,
I got a felon gun
don't do
story
that,
for you. I was in prison with a dude, businessman, fucking real nice dude. He was not on probation, not on parole, nothing, right? Started going to this He started going to this country club. He joined this country club, golfing and shit, and they had a trap thing.
range.
So he's shooting trap, starts like dominating, like winning trap and shit, right? So he's making all these other dudes look bad now that they're in some competition where there's some prizes. There's some money and there's a Chevy truck or something. Well, this dude wins it and he starts winning these things. And these guys just can't beat him. So they hire a private investigator, find out a bunch of shit about him, and then they start documenting him. He doesn't have any guns. He's literally going to the place, to the range, and he's shooting a gun
from the
range or whatever. They arrest him. He's in Lompoc prison. They give him 1 year and a day so that you can't stay in local custody. You have to go to actual prison. So he did a year and a day, felon in possession of firearm that he didn't actually. Well, he had possession because he was holding it at the range. The gun never went home with him. Nothing. And fucking he did a year and a day over that shit. So like, it's not worth it, guys. Just cover your ass, man. Your friend today is not going to be your friend tomorrow. And those were people that were called friends. Those were his friends. As soon as something happens that is not in their interest, it's just not worth fucking with it, guys. I had stem cell therapy for a bad hip I got in a motorcycle accident. I paid $5,000 on credit. Did it work? I'd say to a certain degree.
It's only going to get better. I mean, the good news is they are working towards better and better shit. It is only going to get better. And as it gets better, things are going to get cheaper. Yeah, you might not be able to get the fucking the medicine that Bill Gates is using, but all the experimental shit, all the experiment shit that comes before that
trickles down.
It does trickle down.
Because we're the ones that have to pay for it.
Yeah, it does trickle down.
So everybody keeps telling me PRP, platelet-rich plasma.
Mm-hmm.
They take your blood, spin it, and then inject it back into the joint, right? And Justin Brooks, our tomato guy, East Tennessee, he's like, "Hey man, this fucking works. I had it done. It works. I'm telling you." And my boy Shannon's like, "Dude, I think this shit's working." He had it done. Well, the needle's like this big. He's like, Chattanooga, his wife or something works in a clinic. He's like, "Get in touch with us. We'll get you through there, so you don't have to wait. You know, when you come in, when your appointment time is your time, we'll get it done, right?" And I'm like, "Cool." So while I'm in Chattanooga, like, I'm good. Like, we're gonna be doing that Sky Mountain roller coaster afterwards, or eating pizza with my left hand. He's like, "No, you're not gonna be doing nothing for a couple days. Your shit's gonna be swelled up." I go, "That sounds like a fucked up 6-hour drive home." And I'm telling Amanda, she goes, "You know, Dr. Barry did that shit right in the office here." I go, "What?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "With the 5-inch fucking needle?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "What was that?"
From my phone.
I go, "Well, we'll just get Dr. Barry to come here and we'll just do it upstairs." So,
well, you got to have the
5-inch needle?
But don't you have to have like a centrifuge and shit to fucking spin it and put the
I found one.
juice in it and all that bullshit?
$900. There's one on fucking Facebook Marketplace.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Why?
They're gonna come after you.
For
It's like when Tom Hanks bought that fucking. What the fuck did he buy? He bought a sonogram. Not a sonogram, but a sonogram machine.
I know where there's a sonogram in Camden right now.
Yeah, it's no big
because
deal.
the lady she makes she breeds boxers.
Yeah, it's no big deal now.
So that she sonograms the dogs and shit.
It's no big deal now, but back in the 90s when Tom Cruise bought that, everybody was like,
look up on Craigslist.
He's a mad scientist.
Look on Craigslist. Look up X-ray machine. You will be amazed how many functional X-ray machines are there, and old ones too. Like, especially dental ones and stuff. And then look up...
I want the ones you put your foot in to check your
that's
shoe
what
size.
I said. That's what I said. I'd be putting my dick in there. Look up X-ray machines and... what was the other one? There was another good one, too. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe you can just buy these. But they're everywhere for sale. There's like 12 of them in Nashville. So... I'll get it. We'll try it. And if it makes your leg feel better, then we'll do my shoulder.
What, the thing?
Yeah, PRP. Good? How long should we wait on yours before we do mine? What do you think's a week?
A week? I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
Have you seen these fucking needles, dude?
Yeah, but you know.
It looks like the needle. It looks like a fucking needle that you blow a ball up with, right? That thing you put on the pump. It looks like that, but it's 5 inches long.
There's got to be a better way.
The only way it could be worse is if we just like made it dull.
That's like back in the day, which it's not like this anymore, but I remember I had the Marine Corps would give you 6 months leave if you donated bone marrow.
Oh, yeah.
I
heard they say, they're like, donate bone marrow, it'll save somebody. It's painless. I heard it's fucking highly not painless.
Well, yeah, I had one of my Marines was actually a blood match for somebody and had to go do it. And this was this is back in the 90s, so a lot of things have changed medically. I understand it's a lot less painless now, but he was like, it was not there was no plus benefit. When you're like, oh man, I'm going to go in, I'm going to donate some bone marrow, I'm going to be down for maybe a month, and then I got all that extra time to just do whatever I want.
And he got an infection and died.
No, he was fucking down for the entire time. He goes, because back then they used to have to fucking cut you open and fucking dig in you with a, it was like the old days. There's a dude in there with a fucking headlamp trying to figure out how to get in your...
How about the osteo infusion sets?
What about that?
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
To run an IV into your bone marrow?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like they fucking put it in your shin and shit.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking 18 Delta dudes, I did not see it myself. But they do like a watch one, do one, watch one, teach one. Here, just screw this in. And then I'd also heard like stories about dudes coming into emergency rooms and stuff where people had tapped them, but they don't have the fucking key to take it out because depending on the brand of osteo infusion set, it takes a special like prongs that fucking go in the thing that nobody has, and every brand has there's no like industry standard for it.
That would be so awesome to see somebody come in and to have something like that in them where you're like, there couldn't have been anything that you were doing. There's nothing that you could have been doing that is remotely legit. Where you have this stuck in your leg.
It's more like you escaped from the dungeon. That's how they've been feeding you. For Blade Show shirt, how about you go with one thing you keep... I actually like this. I've been saying this for a couple days since I saw this. How about you go with the one thing you keep saying, coming back to throughout this year? Blade Show cock, do-do-do-do-do. I said, let's do the whole song. Blade Show cock, do-do-do-do. Blade Show cock, do-do-do. Let's do the whole thing, but we're going to get Jason to print it all the way around the shirt. So to read it, you have to keep spinning around.
That would be very complicated.
And then we'll black out the silhouette of a cock out of there.
It would be very complicated for him to do, but it would just be funny as shit.
I say he's up for the challenge. I say it'll make him a better man.
All right.
Right? That's what made us better. People coming in, I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do this.
You always knew how you were going to do it.
I never knew. I still don't know how we're doing it.
You always knew.
Great products. What do you think about the vigilantes in New Mexico? I recommend every new customer look MFCEO or order right or eat a dick. Thanks. What? Edward Bentley. Great products. What do you think about the vigilantes in New Mexico? I recommend every new customer look MFCEO. I don't have a video that says that's MFCEO, do I?
I don't think so.
Because that's Andy Frisella. Or order right or eat a dick. That's definitely one of our videos, order right or eat a dick. Hillbilly, 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 hillbilly.
The truth is, there's always been vigilantes down there on the fucking border trying to wrangle those people up. And if you're somewhere in middle America and you don't understand, I suggest you go down to the border and hang out.
Or better yet,
hang out there and see what they're going through, because
better yet,
they're fucking savages.
Go down to I don't know, any of them places where you can see the fence from, and go ahead and rent a bed and breakfast or a what do they call that?
Airbnb.
Rent an Airbnb down on the border. See how that goes for you. While you're in there, pull some of the drywall off the walls in those houses. Why don't you people? Who are you calling you people?
Yeah, who are you calling
the
you?
The two
people?
Utes use PTO-driven augers. Hillbilly, have you not heard the 5,000 times I said we have a 35 horsepower John Deere tractor? We have an auger. What's the auger? 4 inches?
No, it's big. It's got to be an 8
Maybe
inch.
our auger's too big. It augers into the ground just fine. It continues to auger into the ground, lifts the front end of the tractor up. When we reverse the auger, it doesn't fucking have enough juice to reverse. So we have to unhook it, take the bolt thing out, and then get a pipe wrench and a breaker bar and fucking take it out by hand.
The ground is too hard here.
It's
too many
which
rocks.
is crazy because I just got an auger that goes on a DeWalt drill. Now, as soon as you hit that first rock down there, it wants to rip your hand off of your forearm.
Yep.
So you really have to brace it against your thigh. But we get these holes, right? The augers, it's a 3-inch auger. So I ordered 100 pine trees. They got here today. They're much smaller than I had pictured. I think the 3-inch hole might be too big for these pine trees. They're about the size of a pencil. But I got 100 of them. So even if 5 make it, we'll be good. You people. Robert Lovendy says, R.E. Notre Dame fire. I read somewhere that those huge oak beams actually would be very hard to light up unless you would use an accelerant. Unfortunately, they are also hard to replace because there apparently aren't oaks that size anymore. I'd heard that too. Wrapped EDC belt. Didn't even know those existed. They look very nice. Ordered a low profile one. Thank you, whiny guy, for getting me them mentioned on the podcast. Will only mail monthly. To ask for an ETA is podcast was entertaining as always. Thanks, whiny guy, mentioned on the podcast. They look very nice. Ordered a low profile. Robert, you ordered a low profile wrapped one. They're sweet, man. Hey guys.
Well, as far as the church goes, that's true with any old structure. So if you're living on a farm somewhere in the old farmhouse there, and you know that farmhouse has been there for 80 years, the wood inside that house, so the wood inside your walls inside that house is going to be better than any wood you can buy. Even when you look at 2x4s over the last 60 years, a 2x4 is not the same size as it was when we originally started making 2x4s.
Nope.
They keep getting smaller.
It's even a different material.
Yeah, and they're using shittier wood. So, like, when you see an old house that somebody's going to tear down, you really should go in there and see if you can salvage the wood, because you are going to have real hard woods inside that fucking house that you cannot get anymore. You cannot get. So, if you see an old house, you want to get the wood out of it.
You know, they heat treat wood too. Like you can take wood and apply temperature and heat and fire to it. Straighten it, bend it, do all kinds of shit with it. They temper it, and I believe it makes it more fire resistant at that point as well. The wood is very, very different now. So there's a lot of pine around here. You'll see, especially if you can get up in the air or a high point. We're pretty much flat, but if you can get to a point where you can look out, especially with a drone, there is fucking tons of pine around here. And they grow pine because it grows fast. It's growing about 2 feet a year. When they're planting, you're doing acres. You have companies that will actually come in and plant acreage for you in pine. And I remember, I never heard about this till my friend Eli was telling me about it. His family has a lot of pine stands and peanuts and different things. Pine trees that they're growing, they're doing them for paper pulp. They're making toilet paper out of it is what it is. And at 15 years, you get paper. And at 30 years, you get poles. So they're planting this acreage every year. They're planting more and more. So when you pass this property to your kids can start cutting it. And I think it's like $8,000 an acre for paper pulp, and it's like $30,000 an acre for poles. So it goes up hugely if you can be patient and just keep it in the ground for poles. I could be off on those numbers, but it was a big jump. It was way more than just double. So pine, that's what, and all these people talking about, we got a lot of woodcutters around here, and you got a lot of dudes a lot of people are like, fuck them, they're cutting down the forest. These motherfuckers aren't cutting down any goddamn forests. They're cutting down pine trees and trees on private fucking property. They're not just running into a forest and cutting that shit down. Folks own that shit. That's their property. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. If you live next to them, well, you should have bought that fucking property then, I guess. Hey guys, I have a confession to make. The only SOE product I own is one of your 1.5 Cobra belts. I've had it around 4 years. I'm really impressed with how the Velcro is held up. How did you find that Velcro material? Usually anything else with Velcro wears out, but not this belt. Well, there's a couple things there, JD. Number one, you're only undoing your belt very infrequently, right? Number two, when we went and bought Velcro, there's different grades of Velcro. And we said, what is the best Velcro? And we use the best Velcro. Now, there's other things you guys don't know. There's one-time Velcro. There's medical grade Velcro that they put on as splints. You can't take it off. You physically have to cut it off with shears. There's a lot of different types of Velcro out there. And then there's press dot, and if you look at it, it looks like little fish hooks. The one side is loops. That's why they call it loop. That's the soft side. And the other side is hook. And when you look at it, it's actual fucking barbs, like the barbs on the fish hooks. That's what that shit looks like. But there's different grades of Velcro. There's different loops per square inch. There's a lot with it. We use only fucking good Velcro. That's really the difference.
Can we get some one-time Velcro?
Yeah.
Can we get it?
Yeah.
And then make James a wallet?
Jaeger?
Just be like, what did you do? You must have fucked it up.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Why can't you open that Velcro?
You can't open that Velcro up? But there's a lot of companies right now that are, they're laser cutting all their shit. The reason to laser cut is to cut labor. Plus it looks fucking cool. But they're laminating it, right? So it burns it, and it's got a laminate on the back so that it keeps it from tearing. So a lot of dudes are doing that because it cuts the labor so much. You don't have to sew pals anymore. You don't have to have a $60,000 fucking flatbed Bartech machine. And the way they're attaching it to stuff is with Velcro one wrap. Like your cable tie wrap that you buy at Walmart. Yeah. We can buy that shit on fucking, 50-yard put-ups or whatever. And that's how they're attaching that shit. And then I know First Spear on their armor carrier that has the laser cut shit, it's just the whole inside of the carrier is loop Velcro. So when you one wrap your pouch through it, Velcros to that. Yeah. And then this piece wraps back and Velcros to itself on the one wrap. Hey guys, I have a confession to make. The face of Mars is real. There's more than one. The people of Mars were nuked twice. Look up Dr. John Brandow on YouTube. Xenon 129.
You know who's going to find out first?
Elon Musk?
Elon Musk.
Well, the prostitute in the fucking car is probably going to find out first.
Oh, the prostitute, the dead hooker in the car. It'd be awesome if... It would be awesome as whoever he was mad at. So everybody says it's a prostitute. I think it's one of his arch enemies, and he put an oxygen tank in there and everything just so he's now floating around in space, going, "What the fuck? I'm in this car in space."
Surprisingly enough, at my job, we had a potential customer ask why the product we make is so expensive. It's hard to explain why our products are expensive, are worth the money. Besides, we have been making the product for over 100 years. You can't buy that expertise. Richard Mogul, I'm curious to know what it is you guys produce. Love the beginning of the video. More importantly, our customers like to come here and ask that question. They would have to really go out of their way. Why did you come here to begin with,
Go to Walmart. There's a product for everybody. You just don't want the best product.
Yeah, the best isn't for everyone.
Yeah, the best isn't for everyone. Everyone can't have the best. Some of them have to go to Walmart.
Love the beginning of the video. Those people deserve that shit. Kind of the reason I messaged you about my leg cancer and kidneys. I just needed a kick in the ass. I had never heard of Baby Shark until you mentioned it on the podcast. Now it's stuck in my head every day. Baby Shark, do-do-do-do.
And they sing it all the time here. It is annoying.
Who does?
Everybody, especially Amanda. Amanda loves busting it out. She's got Gabby working on some sort of backup dancing to go along with the song. Like Gabby's working out a routine.
Have you not seen the chick that does all? I don't even know what kind of dancing it's called. Like, you know the dance movie. You know they made movies where there's chicks dancing and shit. Yeah. They have one that's to the Baby Shark. It's pretty good. I had never heard. Speaking, look at this dude's 133T313377114. Is that a phone number?
He's definitely hiding from the government.
Speaking on the topic of the robot in the giant food store from '82, my father works for a company also owned by the same conglomerate that owns Giant. The company is called Stop and Shop, owned by Ahold USA, a company based in the Netherlands. They have one of those robots in every single store throughout New England. Each robot costs $40,000. The company my father works for just got done striking for 11 days because of unfair work practices and unfair pay. The company was willing to lose $40 million plus a day during Easter week and weekend. It makes you wonder if they're willing to lose that much because they don't want to pay their employees or provide health care. We are going to do care where they are going to do in the future. Yeah, go. I mean, strike. Something will replace you guys. It's coming. Like, have a plan. I bought a bunch of gym. Speaking of that, because those rubber mats out there, right? They show footprints. So I want to get one of those fucking little mops.
Roombas.
The Roomba mops, you know? So that mops the footprints. You know the ones you walk behind? Not the giant ones, but the ones that are about this big? The dude that I bought all that plate from at the gym, at that CrossFit gym, he has one for sale. And if you look it up, you won't ever see one under $3,000 on eBay, used. He wants $1,000 for it. He's got one of those fucking... It fills up a big water tank and does all the shit.
That'd be great for out here.
That's what I was thinking. Plus, we have a dude that knows how to do all that.
Who's the dude?
Brandel.
Brandel? Why does Brandel know how to do all that?
He does. That's what he does for that. That's like his main job, but he's trying to like get away from it.
That's kind of cool.
So he can clean floors, fly on the belly of an airplane.
I thought that was just his gig where he was making videos. You're too good to be fucking around with making floors, Brandel. You should quit that gig
and come go work here full time.
Just go full time. Get your ass out. I don't know.
Come on.
Somewhere.
Come on, Brandel.
Just do full-time videos.
And you can wing walk. I think you'd be a great wing walker.
At least once.
Do you think that he would die from his poor wing walking or my inability to fly the aircraft?
I'd probably be a little combination of the both.
He'll probably throw us off.
I'll bet on his way down though he'd do that little spin thing with the camera. So we'd have a good transition.
Good news. That's solid. That SD card, you can get them wet. You can fucking bury them. Lawn dart. Yep. Bury a tree over its snout, trunk, and you'll smother it. Yeah, we just had a few that were dead. Did you ever know Jay Gibson in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, we used to hang out all the time. You know, the Marine Corps is not that big of a place. Ton Tavern. Hung out in China, you know, back in the day. No, I'd never met Jay Gibson when I was in the Marine Corps.
When you guys were chasing Genghis Khan?
Marine Corps is a big place, and I think Jay was like...
What about when Napoleon was fucking raiding Egypt? Were you there?
We were not there yet. We were on our way. You know, it took longer to get to those places in the old days.
I thought Jay was at SOTG like right after you left.
I have no idea. I've not really.
I think
we haven't really.
I think you stepped out and he stepped in.
We haven't really talked about what we were doing at the time, but all I know is it went downhill after I left. So that could be directly reflecting that Jay was there or not. One of the two. I don't know.
Skully and any other vets in the comments. I need some advice.
Go ahead and do it.
Hold
Just
on.
do it.
This is from Rock 762 by 39. Do you think life would be different or incomplete if you didn't serve in the military? My entire life, I have wanted to join the military. Things didn't work out after high school. Life took me a different way. I'm 25 now and ready to be done with construction. I'm looking for my next step in life and keep thinking about enlisting before I get too old. That only thing holding me back is I don't trust the government. I love my country,
I don't trust
but
the
I
government,
have
but I'm going to join the
been
military.
fucked by the long dick of the law, and I'm not too keen on giving up control of my life again, but I don't want to be 60 and hate my... Hold on, let me stop this. This sounds like bullshit. Fucking goddamn go do it, or shut the fuck up and stop talking about it. Like, that's where it's at. If you've been fucked by the long dick of the law, you probably can't get in the military. So if you're really sitting here telling us that you hate your construction job, one of two things. You really hate construction, or you're a shitty construction worker. Because there's some fucking dudes in construction that make a fucking ton of money. Transition and make something different and make your own money. Keep your job fucking until you can do that. Or walk the fuck down to the recruiter and find out if you can get in the military. Just go do it. You're saying you're 25. You are fucking young. You could go do fucking 4 years in the military right now and turn around and fucking be on a completely different path. Or you could know, fuck, I hated that. But this whole, I can't follow directions and fuck those guys. You just fucking contradicted yourself 10 times in this same fucking thing. Fucking put up or shut up. Don't ever fucking say it again or go do it tomorrow. Go ahead. Not at all what you were going to say.
No, well, I don't know. You're too old. You're too old to join the military, and the reason why I say that is because of exactly what you said there at the end. You already have these ideas in your head of how it's going to go when you get there, and am I going to get fucked by the government? And guess what? Because you've already matured to a certain point, and you have these certain ideas in your head, when you get in there, you're going to get fucked by the government. That's the whole point of being in the military is. Boot camp is all about fucking you out of all the norms that you're used to. And it works really good for 18-year-olds because they have not been out in the world. So it's easy to get an 18-year-old to follow this certain path so I can get this 18-year-old to do what he was doing. Greatest experience of my life, being in the military. I would go back in the military today. But I have an understanding of what that life is. I'm not romanticizing it or nothing. I have a great understanding of what it is. And for you at 25, you're too old. You're gonna end up going there. It already sounds like you have an attitude, and if you go there with that kind of attitude, that attitude will only turn into more problems for you, and it's not going to work out.
Okay, so now that we've decided you're not going in the military, go fucking do something. Like, figure out what that is, man. And you don't even have to know what it is. Just start taking a step in a direction and another step. And then you might step to the side and boom, there it is. You have to do something, man.
I got an easy solution for you. Get a plane ticket, fly to Turkey.
France.
No, fly to Turkey. Do not go to France.
Yeah, go to France. Be a baller.
Don't go to France.
Foreign Legion.
Fly to Turkey. In Turkey, there are representatives from the Kurdish army that will smuggle you across the border, and you can join the Kurdish army. There are other Americans that are in the Kurdish army over there right now that are fighting with the Kurds. Good news is you will kind of get a taste of what it's kind of like, not really, to be in the military. But better news is anytime you want, you can now go, holy shit, this really does suck, I'm going home. Whereas if you sign a contract for 4 years with the federal government, you can still do that, but you're not going to go home in the condition you want to go. So, I don't know. I think that no matter what, because when you don't know what you don't know. So when you become 60, you probably are going to look back and go, man, I wonder what my life would have been like if fucking I didn't join if I would have joined the military when I was 25. When I am 60, I'm going to go, man, what if I didn't go in the... I never do that. I never do the whole... Because there was never an option where I wasn't going in the military. But, like right now, I can say there was one point in my life where I had a choice. And the choice was go in the Marine Corps as dirty enlisted or join the Army as an officer. And I chose the dirty enlisted. So maybe when I'm 60, I'm going to go, fuck, I should have joined the Army. But it's one or the other. Being an officer sucks. It doesn't matter what service you're in, because when you're storming the beaches and shit, the officers don't get to do any of the cool shit. They don't get to do no cool shit. They're like this all day.
On the other hand, Jeff says the only way Tennessee would be better had he been here 10 years earlier.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, you don't know what you don't know. So
look, man, if you're just talking about it, forget it. If something you want to do, you have to commit to that. That means that is your life for 4 years. Not your fucking car in the driveway, not your ex-girlfriend, not your dog at home that's getting older and you're going to have to go home because he's dying. Your life is that. That means you fucking walk away from everything else, and then you can come back afterwards and do what you want to do with that shit. But that has to be your life. Like, if you've got some girlfriend, she ain't going to be there when you fucking come back, because that's going to fuck you up. It's just like being in prison. You have to do that for that amount of time, and you become a new man. You become a new person. You figure out what you're going to do afterwards, and all that bullshit, that's fucking all that stuff you're worrying about that's going to fuck that 4 years up, it's not going to matter anymore.
The other thing, too, is I say you're too... I will say you're too
not
old.
Physically too old.
I would say you're too old in the sense of this. If you join the military right now, like if you, whatever, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, when you go to boot camp, you are going to be older than your drill instructors. You will be older than your drill instructors. Doesn't matter where you go, any of the services, you will be older than your drill instructors, which means you'll be older than everybody in the platoon, which you won't have anything in common with them, and they will all look at you as some fucking geezer. It'll be different. It's a different world when you go in when you're older. I don't know a lot of guys who joined the service when they were older and had a successful career.
Oldest dude to become a SEAL and go through BUDS, oldest guy to go through BUDS and become a SEAL, was 36 years old. At 36, he went through BUDS and became a SEAL. Can you do it? Can it be done? Yeah, it can be done. But you just fucking contradicted. We can't make that choice for you, man. Let us know what you end up doing. We'll see your next comment in probably 3 days. So tell us, yeah, I'm doing this other thing, or tell us you went and talked to a recruiter. Skully, what kind of scope did you use in the military, and what do you recommend now?
Let's see. It's
a lot of like, what kind of truck should I get? What are you doing?
I used a 4-power. I used a 4-power Colt optic on an AR-15 or an M16.
Man, I remember those. They used to screw on the handle up top.
Screw on the handle. I used the ACOG.
And they had that stupid like little spring thing underneath.
Yeah, I used like 3 different versions of the ACOG, and then for the long guns, I had the Unertl 10-power and the Schmidt and Bender 2.5 by 10 or 2.5 by 17. I can't remember. That came in right as my portion of the world was waning, so I didn't really fuck around with that scope that much. I had a US Optics 1-4 power on my AR-15 and my Mark 11 when I carried the Mark 11.
In case you ever needed to do any framing, build some walls or something.
In case I needed to do anything like that.
8-penny, 16-penny nails.
That fucking scope, I mean, I got blown up with that scope, and then I was running and got caught on some barbed wire and rifles right here, completely in the air onto the fucking concrete.
That scope broke 2 of your ribs.
Fucking all body armor on, like, fucking smashed that fucking scope into the ground. It left, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go to the range and re-zero this. And went to the range the next day, and it was fucking still right on. But they make good scopes. There's so many fucking options out there nowadays. You gotta figure out what, I need to know what you're shooting, what you're putting it on, blah blah blah. And I'm old school too. I like a BDC. I like a ballistic reticle. I don't like the Horus reticle. I don't like all that shit because
I want 5 colors of lights in my optics.
The more stuff you have in the more the truth be told, if you're running around on a range here, just here in the United States, and you're doing these, whatever those fucking PRS challenges and shit, then it kind of doesn't matter. But if you're using an optic for real, the more stuff you have in that optic, the more fatigued your eye is going to get, and the less time you'll be in that scope. So I'm all for just the minimalist amount of stuff in there.
I had a Xerox box full of US optic scopes. 2 Xerox boxes, as a matter of fact. Skully, when you were first in the military, could you get guns and ammo sent from home? Example, Vietnam tunnel rats with chrome-pearled handled 1911s.
No, you couldn't bring... you're technically not allowed to use any personal firearms without approval through the Defense Department. So, for example, I have a friend that was with Det 1, and Det 1 took some sniper rifles over to Iraq. They were not DOD, or they were not really sanctioned by the military, but they were still allowed to. They were still given DOD approval to take them because they wanted to see if this cartridge,
what it would do on smoking fools.
Yeah, would somehow be the fucking, the way to go. Which turned out it wasn't. But you're not really allowed to take your own personal weapons over there. I do know dudes, because there's a shortage of everything. When it's time to go to the big show,
all rules off.
There's a shortage of everything. So there's going to be a shortage of, because the officers like to walk around with just their pistol when it's training time. But when you go over there, they want a rifle, which means things are getting short. Here's the thing. If you have a weapon system that looks exactly like the weapon systems that we are operating with, there's a good chance that you can carry it around and use it and no one's going to fucking pay you no mind. There's also a good chance that somebody's, like, if you're just some fucking PFC and you got a fucking Beretta and a fucking M4 carbine, there's also a possibility that somebody's going to be like, hey, douche, where the fuck you get that? Let me see that serial number. And then you're fucked.
The other problem, too, like if you sustain an injury and they
you
grab your gun,
you have to be
able to realize when it gets into the fucking armory system.
You have to be, whatever the gun is or system you're going to take over there, you have to be willing to lose it. I know a lot of guys who bought Beretta pistols specifically to carry over in Iraq, took them over and brought them back, no problem, because the Beretta's the gun. Who's going to, as long as your platoon sergeant knows about it. I know of a lieutenant who took a 1911 over and had no problems. I'm surprised, but it's just who you are. Like I carried around an M79 grenade launcher. We hadn't issued a fucking M79 grenade launcher since Vietnam, and nobody asked me where I got that motherfucker. So it just depends, but if you want to take your fucking...
When I mail, you mail. Or we send anybody an APO, right?
Uh-huh.
Do they open that before you get it?
No.
You get it completely sealed up?
You get it completely sealed up. They don't open it. There's no... Maybe I shouldn't say this. Would there be a reason not to say this? So you are bound by the guidelines of the federal post office system when you mail something overseas. Once it becomes APO, the military doesn't give a shit. They're just trying to get rid of it. They get it to its destination.
Nowadays, when we
you could send ammunition and all that shit.
Nowadays, not legally, you couldn't.
Not legally because of the U.S. Postal Service.
So if something happened between here and getting to APO, it'd come back to you. When we ship a package overseas to an APO or FPO, nowadays, you guys are getting it in 6 to 10 days. When it first kicked off, it was taking 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Now guys are getting, like, we're hearing from dudes like, holy shit, I got this from you guys in 6 days. I got this in 10 days. But when we mail it, like when our system sends it out, we sent dozens of FPO, APO orders today. When they go, you get an email or your email address, whether you see it or not. Our system dispatches an email, and it has tracking. That tracking ceases. Like it'll show that
the APO.
We delivered it to Camden. Camden moved it to Memphis. From Memphis, it went to, for APO, there's one it goes to Texas, New York, or I think California. Okay. So from there, when that tracking moves to the military and they hand it off to the military, that tracking ceases. We have no way of knowing where it is. You don't know where it is until, boom, you get it at mail call. Do you guys have mail call, or do you go, how do you know you got mail?
Because the gunny will come and be like, "Hey, I got mail," and then you'll go stand there. You'll go stand there, and everybody will get something, and you don't get anything, and you're like, "Motherfuckers!"
Love these podcasts. When is Skully going to bring in some one-off SOE gear to show up?
I don't think I have it. Well, I guess the
Yeah,
17. I guess that one that holds
Yeah,
holds all the mags is a one-off.
Jeff has SOE gear at his house I haven't even seen. Like
No,
when
that's
I'm
not
like
true.
when I go to Jeff's,
That's not
I'll go
true.
to Jeff's house and I'm like, "What is that?" He goes, "You made it." I go, "I didn't. What the fuck is that? I didn't make that." He goes,
It's
"Yeah,
not
you
true.
made this."
It's not true.
Love these podcasts. A few episodes back, you guys mentioned having a backup of important information that Jack Spirko has recommended since the beginning of TSP. Yeah, not only one, have fucking 3 of them. Have them anywhere you might be. Each vehicle has them. Everything has them. That advice is 100% on point. In the past, I was interviewed on TSP a couple of times. I saw the importance of having documentation packets stored away from the home vehicle in person. Responded to a need in Joplin, Missouri after a major tornado back in 2011. One of the problems we heard multiple times was folks trying to prove who they were in order to access their bank accounts, credit cards, and the like. All their personal ID was gone. The tornado scattered it across the entire state. Having a hard copy or thumb drive with scans of the documentation stored somewhere else would have helped those folks tremendously. Wish I'd have took Jack's other advice on stuff like silver back in 2006 and Bitcoin when it first popped up. I'd be in a way better financial place if I had listened and researched. Hope you guys keep the podcast going. It is both informative and entertaining. I am confident that you are reaching folks that whom would otherwise not be gifted with such important information. Thanks for that. P.S. The moon pie noodles story had me rolling. Let me say this too. You guys, I know there's dudes that can't own firearms and shit, right? And I know there's guys, some of you guys have fucking firearms and you're not supposed to. Or anything. Any whatever it is you have stashed away that you might not should have, right? It's never a problem till it's a problem. And here are how, like he mentioned tornado, right? Let's say you got a gun safe someplace stashed and you got all your shit that nobody knows about. Tornado comes, fucking wrecks your house, picks your fucking gun safe up and dumps it a mile away out in a farmer's field. They find it, they fucking get in this gun safe, and there's something in there of yours. You've got important documents and stuff, and some stuff you're not supposed to have. That is going to get reported to law enforcement, at which point, maybe it's a problem, maybe it's not a problem. It's probably going to get reported to insurance, in which case, it's going to be a problem at some point. Or your house burns down, and they find a fucking skeleton that you're not fucking... That little girl or that fucking person you kidnapped 18 years ago.
Don't keep skeletons in your house.
Not skeletons. It's a skeleton now. Those fucking people you had in your attic or in your fucking basement chained up. Sooner or later, somebody's going to find that shit. So if you're not supposed to have some shit, it's never a problem until it's a problem. Just keep that in your mind. All you guys talking about burying shit, and if you're gonna go bury something somewhere, some gun somewhere or something, don't put a bunch of other bullshit that says who the fuck you are with it. If you're gonna go bury some shit, just bury that shit.
Hey, here's the other thing too.
Don't put your spare driver's license with it.
If you want to see the kookiest law enforcement story about cocaine, you need to look up. It's on Netflix right now. It is called Cocaine Island. It is fucking 100% hilarious. Even the federal agents that get involved in this fucking fiasco are laughing while they're telling the story about Cocaine Island.
So what is it?
It's this hippie. So it's basically this hippie who finds some cocaine. He's down there in Puerto Rico on this tortoise preserve. And he's putting the tortoises in the fucking water. And this fucking bag floats up. And he thinks it's got money in it. He opens it up, and it's full of cocaine. 80 kilos of cocaine. And he's like, the fuck am I going to do with 80 kilos of cocaine? So he zips the bag closed.
How do I convert this to
And
cash?
then he drives around the island for a little bit, hiding it all over Puerto Rico, until finally he's like, I have to go back to the States. I have no idea what to do with this cocaine. So right behind his trailer where he lives, he buries this cocaine. Then he comes back to the United States, and he spends the next 10 years telling everybody he meets about this cocaine. And then he ends up telling this one construction worker, or this guy who owns a construction company, who has fallen on hard times, who has no, like, is so far removed from the drug world and crime, he has no concept of anything that has to do with it. But this story, and he's talking about 80 kilos, and he has this friend who has a drug habit, and he's telling the story again that the hippie's telling him. The guy with his drug habit dude's like, you know how much money that is? That's $5 million. And all we have to do is fly down there and get it. So Cocaine Island. You need to look it up on Netflix.
So is it a movie or a series?
No, it's a documentary about it. This really happened. Dude really gets...
So it'll probably be on YouTube.
It might be on YouTube, but just look up Cocaine Island. It's just funny when federal authorities get involved.
So how do they get involved?
So...
They find the cocaine?
No, they don't find the cocaine. So this is how they get involved. Obviously, construction worker doesn't know anything about drugs. So he's like, but what do we do when we get the cocaine here? Like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. What do we do? So the drug habit guy goes, I know a dude. He's a fucking gangster. He'll sell it. He can sell it. So he introduces him to fucking drug dealer, the local drug dealer. And the local drug dealer's like they really interview this guy. He's like, yeah, it was a crazy story. I didn't believe a fucking word of it, but maybe he does have 80 kilos of cocaine. So they come up with this profit sharing scheme where everybody's going to get a taste, right? If they get the cocaine. Because he tells the drug dealer, hey, it's 80 kilos. Well, Dopehead just guessed on how much it was, and the drug dealer's like, no. It's not, that's how much a kilo costs, but we're going to step on it, and it's going to be worth twice as much because it's going to be twice as much. You know, it's not really 80 kilos of cocaine. It's fucking 160 kilos of cocaine. And so they're like, but you have to get it here. If you get it here and give it to me, I will fucking move it. So that's just this fiasco of them going to Puerto Rico and trying to dig this fucking shit up. And they end up going to Puerto Rico 3 different times. While this is happening, drug dealer actually gets arrested.
And he tells him, hey, let me go. I know where there's 80 kilos.
And he immediately goes,
oh, shit.
Hey, I got a better story for you. You don't want me. You want these guys.
So did they let that dude walk?
Yeah, they let the drug dealer walk.
Oh, shit.
You're like, you want these guys, right? And so the federal agents come in, an undercover. He's like, because the undercover comes in and he's like, hey, I can solve your problem. And the construction worker guy's like, no, you can't. It's fucked. We're not doing it. There was drug agents at the last, because they thought he was actually bringing it in. And there was drug agents there. I'm not doing this. And he goes, no. You don't understand. I have my own plane. All you have to do is dig it up, and then we'll fly it back here to the States. You give me 4 kilos. You keep the rest. And so the guy's like, okay, that sounds like a good idea.
That should almost be entrapment.
It gets worse. It gets worse. So this dude, this construction worker's big, huge fat guy, right? And it's just like you think. He's with this dopehead. They go down to Puerto Rico. The dopehead does not bring his fucking, what's that shit that the heroin users take?
Narcan?
No, the substitute heroin. What is it? It's that they go and get their...
Yeah, I know what you're talking
But anyways, he doesn't bring his medication.
The clinic, whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't bring his medication, so he's...
Methadone.
Yeah, he doesn't bring his methadone. So he's throwing up all over the hotel room, and a fat guy is just like, all right, that's it. I'm just going to take the Jeep and go dig this cocaine up. So he goes, and he gets to the spot. Well, when he gets to the spot, the trailer's not there. The living quarters are not there. So he's like, I don't know where the fuck this stuff is.
How do I know where Outback is?
So he gets on the phone in Puerto Rico and calls the hippie. And he's like, hey, I'm here. I don't even know where this is at. And so the hippie is walking him around through the phone to find where this cocaine's buried.
Did they ever find it?
He never found it.
Did anybody go to prison?
He never found it. So he does not find the cocaine. He tries to dig. He can't dig. First time they don't have a shovel. The ground is too hard, so he's like, you need an excavator. So he goes back to the States. Does not get any cocaine. Goes back to the States. He meets the pilot, and he's like, we couldn't get it. Ground's too hard. Fuck it. We're not doing it. I'm out. And goes back to business, and he's doing his thing. Well, pilot keeps calling him. And keeps calling him.
And this is the Fed.
This is Fed. Pilot keeps calling him. And then finally the pilot's like, look, I got a plan. You get me a map of where you think it's at. You get me a map of where you think it's at. I'll go down and pick it up and bring it back. It's just going to cost you 8 kilos. Guy's like, oh, well, okay. So he makes a map of where the cocaine's at and gives it to the drug enforcement agent guy. Drug enforcement agent guy is probably kicking back in his office, drinking a Coke for a week. And dude's sweating, right? He's like, fuck. He found the cocaine, he stole it. Like, he thinks he's a real dude. Like, he found the cocaine, he stole it, blah, blah, blah. We get a phone call. Fat guy gets a phone call and is like, hey, it's me. We got the cocaine. Meet me here. If you're not here in 30 minutes, I am fucking gone, and I'm taking all the coke. So dude's racing to get there, right? He's racing to get there. Gets there. It's this big open parking lot. There's nothing in the parking lot but this big red convertible. And he goes inside to the shop, and the pilot's in there looking at fishing rods, right? He's looking at fishing rods. Pilot's like, he goes, you got it? You got it? Yeah. He's like, good. Dude's hugging him. He's like, oh my God, I really thought you were going to steal all the cocaine and blah, blah, blah. Pilot goes, here's the keys to the car. It's in the trunk. Go get your shit. I'll be out in a minute. Dude goes out to the car.
And they hook him up.
Opens the trunk. Unzips the bag. There's cocaine in the bag. Zips the bag up. Turns around. Puts it in his truck. And as soon as he turns around, we got you. Right? Cops everywhere, right? Cops everywhere. They arrest him. He's like, fuck. What happened? Oh my God. And here comes fucking Kool Moe Dee, the pilot, putting on his FBI jacket and his badge and shit. He's like, you got caught, buddy. They asked the 2 agents. So this dude's actually interviewing the 2 agents that were in charge of the case. They asked them, did you guys really dig the cocaine up? Did you really dig some cocaine?
No, we used our own cocaine, not evidence.
They start laughing. They both, you see them both laughing, and they're like, yo, that there was no the cocaine wasn't usable. We couldn't recover the cocaine. They just start laughing. And all through the interview with the police, they're like, you could tell that they never went. So, so the guy's like, this has to be entrapment. You guys provided the drug. There was nothing there. You went down. Guaranteed you went down there. And so it's a really good story. It's
fucking crazy, man.
It's crazy, but it's amazing how. Anyways, so the guy, the construction worker, he goes to court. He's arrested. He's going to do. I think the minimum on cocaine is 10 to 15 years or some shit like that at that time period, and the whole story gets told to the judge, and the judge is like, yeah, no, this is ridiculous. I think he got 39 days time served because they had locked him up, and then he did 5 years of probation.
Fucking crazy. It's amazing that they just, on the original drug dealer, the guy that got pinched, I got a bigger story. It's amazing they let that dude walk.
Yeah, he's the dude that walks.
It's amazing that they
he was the real drug dealer.
It's amazing they're not like, we're going to keep you in custody till this pans out. Love you guys, but when you got some important culture monument or other piece of history burnt to the ground, you probably get rallied up big time too. Second, U.S. don't have the Muslim problem to deal with on a regular basis like Europe does. Charcus, whoever you are. Yeah, it's fucking terrible that burnt down. The point is, you don't know that it was... We don't fucking want all them motherfuckers doing... They want to come here, fucking live like we live. We don't want campments of them. We don't want them doing their shit. We don't want them lighting our shit on fire. Just like they shouldn't be in France doing it. They let them in there.
Yeah, your government...
We're not for them.
Your government
but you don't have any proof that fucking happened.
Yeah, your government let them in there, so...
You guys want to be mad about some shit? You got plenty of shit to be mad about. Isn't there a bunch of Muslims burning down fucking a bunch of fucking churches? Go fucking find those groups. Go do something about it. You don't have any... Is there proof? I haven't heard anything more about it.
That's all I've heard is it was an accident.
Man, I just watched live coverage of SpaceX using the Falcon Heavy rocket to launch a satellite for the Saudis. They re-landed both side boosters and center core for the first time. It was cool watching the side booster land in unison. Too bad the video feed of the center core landing on a ship got interrupted right before landing. Keep up the great podcast.
I think they actually, they had a problem. They lost it. I think that one that landed on the ship had a, and I don't know this for a fact. I just remember hearing a blurb that the one at sea was either lost or fucking broke or something. So
well, it's amazing that the Hollywood studios where they film all that at.
It's
amazing that they have such tall ceilings where they can launch rockets.
Well, that's why it's always filmed from really far away, so you can't tell that it's all CGI.
But it's only really 30 feet tall. We're doing it in the back room.
And you don't think the Saudis have enough money to put a fucking satellite in space?
First 50 hours at SOE Cockstrong Gym. First workout, 50-hour wheelbarrow carry uphill, wet mulch, with 2 front-wheel Georgia buggy. Welcome to apprenticeship program. Thanks SOE and crew for the content.
You also have to carry a gallon of milk in your butthole all the way to the top of the hill.
Butt chug challenge.
Yeah, the butt chug
challenge.
Who was
that? Whose idea was that? Tyler's?
I think it was Tyler's.
Tyler and Curtis was pretty up in there too. Curtis probably has a gallon of milk in his butthole right now.
The plumber. What was the plumber's name?
Oh yeah.
The plumber was all for it. Sean was all for it.
Sean. I'll bet he's got something in his ass too. I'll bet all 3 of them have something up their butt right now. They probably put it there.
It's
I'll
good
bet they're
training.
trying to hatch chicken eggs.
It's good training.
John, did you see the policy update from PayPal saying they will no longer refund the fees back to you if you cancel or refund someone? I did not see that. Don't care. It's minuscule. It's cost of business.
What's the fees?
It's like 4% or whatever. Whatever. Cost of business. My proof that the earth is round came to me today. No matter how hard I try to mow straight lines in the lawn, I always end up with a slight curve. Truth be told, the earth is round. I like it, Lawrence. A serious question for John. I don't sleep very well. I'm your age. And it seems to get worse as time goes on. On my few days off, I can nap the day through, but don't actually sleep. Any suggestions for someone sleeping 5 hours to make the best of it? So you're saying you only have 5 hours to sleep and you're not staying asleep that 5 hours is what you're saying? Tropin. Try Tropin. Try REM, Rest Every Muscle, by Run Everything Labs. We're a dealer for them. We're a dealer for Swinney, who has Tropin. Gero Laboratories has a sleep aid. I use all 3 of those. I switch between them. I'll do one for a couple days, the other, and the active ingredients in them are different in each one. And they'll knock me out. I'll sleep really, really good for about 5 hours. And then I wake up and I'm tossing and turning. Really, I should get up at that point and just be up. It's getting out of bed that's the hard part, especially if you got a chick with you, you got your wife with you or something. Getting up sucks. Once you're up, that 5 hours of sleep, it's when I sleep longer than that 5 hours. When I get up at 4:30 or whatever and I have to pee and then I go back to sleep, I toss and turn every 15-20 minutes. It's not good sleep. I am better off getting up and using the time. I'm probably also better off if I did that so I stayed in bed a shorter amount of time, but I had the really good sleep for a shorter amount of time. Go to bed earlier the next night if you're tired, or take a short nap in the day if you can. I think that you can get by on a lot less sleep And then when you get tired, just fucking sleep. Take a 30-minute nap, get up, and then, you know, run in that. I don't feel like I sleep as much as I did when I was younger, and I don't feel like I really need to.
You do take a lot of stimulants, though.
I take a lot of shit. When I am ready to go to sleep, I go to sleep, though. Like, when it's time to go to bed, like, at the end of the day, my gas tank is fucking empty.
Yeah, he can't stay still if he stays still. Like, if you put a movie on.
I can't,
like, he wouldn't finish Cocaine Island. He'd fall asleep.
I can't sit down and watch TV. I can't put a movie on. If we go to the movies in the middle of the day, if it's a really good movie, I'll make it through it. Otherwise, I'm like dozing off. It's when I sit still. If I'm moving, though, I can move 16 hours a day. I can move fucking 18, 20 hours a day as long as I'm moving. It's when I fucking sit still. Like, I don't even sit down to eat lunch. I don't sit down. I stand and eat, and I'm right back to work. If I sit down in a comfortable chair or something, I'm fucked. What up, guys? I'm born and raised through the Inland Empire, California. That's where Temecula was. But I lived and worked in North Texas for 5 years. When I first got out there, I tripped out how they spoke, such as instead of 10, they say 10. And y'all instead of you all. I thought it was funny at the time. When I moved back to Cali, I worked for Carmack Service Department in Irvine. I hadn't noticed, but everyone I worked with would comment on how my Texas accent. Apparently, I was saying shit like y'all, shoot, damn near, good old boy, and well, goddamn. Have you noticed yourself saying anything you originally found funny to hear others? Yeah, y'all. I say y'all now. I don't. And I was always like telling Amanda, I'm like, why do you fucking keep saying that? Mm-hmm. Y'all. P.S. Fucking YouTube changed my notifications for your page, so I wasn't seeing when you posted new videos. I don't want to have to fuck you up, YouTube. Messing with my SOE videos is like messing with my emotions. Yeah, you're seeing that across the board. It's all Facebook, Instagram. Everybody's doing it, man.
5 billion.
5 billion.
5 billion. Zuckerberg just got fined.
Fined?
Yeah.
By who?
By the federal government for letting outside sources get your information off Facebook.
Yeah, but you know
things are going to change on Facebook.
But there's no goddamn restitution. That's just the government stealing $5 billion.
Nobody on Facebook's going to get any.
Yeah, you know those fucking senators are getting fucking part of that.
They're getting all of it.
This morning I listened to the latest podcast, and there was a few minutes talking about mattress buying. Just now on Instagram, I got a sponsored ad for memory foam mattress. It goes further than using your microphone. Yeah, sure does. I'm not sure what you pay Skully, but I would be willing to pay 1 hour of his wage for him to do an entire podcast in Sergeant Major Terry's voice.
I don't know if I could do that.
No,
I don't know if I could do it. It's you got to get in the right frame of mind. Like, I always think about him lifting up that motorcycle and throwing it down on the ground. That's kind of what gets me going. Or him answering the phone at sniper school.
In response to podcast 88, I just about cut my thumb off on my dominant hand and the entire tire while it was healing after surgery. I said so many times that I would never take my thumb for granted again, even the smallest of tasks. Writing, buttoned my work uniform, or wiping my own ass was a pain in the dick. Fuck that. I'll do a little finger any day of the week over my thumb. Keep it up. Yeah, there you go. You can't wipe your ass with your fucking thumb.
Yeah, you can wipe your ass without your thumb.
Show me.
No, you can do it.
No, you can't.
Next time you go in there, try and do it without your thumb.
No, you can't.
The only reason why you are having a problem is because you still had the thumb. So you still had the thumb, and there was that problem with the thumb because it was a pain in the ass because it was healing. Once that thumb's gone, you will adapt.
You couldn't even use your thumb bone as a good toothpick. Your pinky would be better. John, I'm at work. I took a walk to check out the pipeline and wandered over to where we were replacing a line. It's a cool ditch all braced up with trench boxes and all, and what do I see? A big SOE painted on one of the trench boxes. I took a little video of it. What's a good email address to send it to you? John at originalsoegear.com. That's cool, man. Dead on about hams. Do you guys think if Notre Dame was deliberately set, anyone would admit it to the public, especially considering the Easter bombings that just took place? Yeah, who's claiming Easter bombings? Is there anybody claiming it? I would expect they would claim it, or I would expect whoever did it.
They're already claiming it. They've already arrested some of the guys. It's all. Oh, guess what? Muslims. But if the government, here's the thing about stuff like that. If the government can control it, so if they can control the narrative. They will always control the narrative because they're doing it for your own good. We've had several shootings here in the United States. I can't think of the guy's name. He did Virginia. I want to say Virginia Tech. The shooter at Virginia Tech. I actually know somebody who was there for the debrief on all that, and who's high up in that kind of world and there's 100 things that they did not release about that shooter because they do not want. Here's the thing that they're afraid of in the United States. They're afraid of a bunch of rednecks with rebel flags on their trucks going around and rounding up all the Muslims. So here in the United States, there are situations where the government will try and tamp that down on who those people are affiliated to and blah blah blah. Now some of the stuff they just can't, like the dudes for the Boston bombing, they can't really not say who they were because they were still looking for them. But the government does cover shit up because they don't want you out there fucking running in the streets with your 6 guns trying to hunt them down.
Why? What's their advantage to them being here?
There's no advantage.
What does the government care?
Because we have to pretend like we are all inclusive.
Why? Where's their win?
It's not really a win. It's about
how do they financially benefit from it?
They financially benefit it by as long as people are center of the road, calm and collective. They will continue to spend money and continue to go to work and continue to do the things that is necessary for society. Continue to function.
Do you guys think Notre Dame was deliberately set? On the subject of Craftsman lawnmowers, I moved into a house that had 2 acres of ground. When we moved, all we had was a shitty little push mower, which just about killed you trying to do the big field. Yeah, I had my house before the house. Mowing took me fucking 3 hours walk behind, and then I got a riding mower and it took 30 minutes, and then with a 0 turn it took about fucking 10 minutes. Had in the back of the house, I borrowed a friend's John Deere 0 turn, and it had been a while before it was cut, so the grass was about deep as your shin. Dude, I fucking mow grass that's up to my fucking hip. Like, you just gotta move the deck up high. I borrowed a friend's John Deere 0 turn, top of your shin. I got that dam so clogged up with grass that I had to pick it up off its ass and clean it out. Yeah, I've done that too. Fast forward a month or so, we bought for about $500 a really clean but older Craftsman lawn tractor mower. Same field, same height grass. Was really worried about the entire time I was going to burn it out, but no matter what, the little bastard just chugged on through it. Still have it 5 years later. This year was an idiot and didn't winterize it, and I thought for sure I was going to turn over. Wasn't going to turn over, but turned the key and it turned out like a champ. Yep.
Those are good. Those old models are good.
Man, I've pushed up on shit and had it so clogged I had to drive backwards, and there's like a fucking pillow of fucking just wet, rolled up grass right there. What's sad is that there is a need for people like you to motivate people to get off their ass, get off their butt and work. I'm not that old, 35. I grew up without internet, but use it all the time now. I didn't have to be told at 12 years old to do chores or spend all summer break working at Dad's business. It was just known. I'm so sick and tired of the way people are now and how they need hand holders. Don't know what needs to be done to fix it, but sick and tired of the fact there is a need to have something done to fix this lazy, entitled mentality of the youth today. Sick of this shit. Grow the hell up and be normal. Damn. Sorry, just pissed this morning and venting. So I guess the question is like, what's different between you and them? Was it your parents did the same thing you're doing now? Was it your grandparents? Like, why are you different? Why am I different than the people we're talking about? And the other part of it too is, what do we fucking care? Let them. The worse they are, the better you are. Unfortunately, unless you're a business owner and you need employees, then it becomes a problem. That's really our problem, is that we don't have enough bodies to fill these sewing machines up. So I don't know, man. Just fucking keep doing what you're doing. If you don't know them, fuck them. Help the one or the two that you can. Set an example for your kids. I don't know what the answer is. So I read that North Korea is meeting up with Russia. What do you guys think is up with that? My best guess is Putin wants to use Kim as a puppet to negotiate the U.S. out of Korea entirely. Also, what do you think it's going to take for the Korean Peninsula to reunify? My guess is a single government, be it democratic or communist. If the U.S. leaves South Korea, my guess is it's going to be communist.
Probably not. Probably not be communist. The people in power in South Korea are not going to turn the country over to North Korea. I don't think they are going to be unified. I know they've built a road and Kim's gone to South Korea and fucking rode on the merry-go-round, but he's not going to give up his power hold unless there are guarantees. So, I mean, smart money would be for Kim to just start opening the Kim businesses all across North Korea, like the Kim shipping company, the Kim fucking dress company or whatever, and let capitalism take over, because he has a workforce that South Korea can use to outpace China. Once they get that labor that is in North Korea, they'll be able to outpace China in production.
Is and Kim slave labor?
It doesn't have to be slave labor. You think, when somebody has not been getting paid forever, and then you're like, hey man, how about $5 an hour? They're going to be like, that sounds fucking wonderful. I mean, they're going to be happy just to get food in North Korea.
Running water.
And then Kim could be a billionaire, and he could go wherever he wants in the world, and all the liberal lefties will fucking welcome him with open arms, because they'll be like, whoa, look at him, a unified Korea.
The rare diseases that haven't been seen in the United States for decades are now popping up all over. The media is blaming the people that choose not to vaccinate themselves or their children. However, majority of places it's popping up is where there is populations of illegal aliens, not just a coincidence.
Well, yeah, you have people coming. Here's the thing,
when you say illegal aliens, like, what you really need to be thinking is, it's not, when you hear illegal alien, you're thinking Mexicans.
Yeah,
that's not what it is.
These people are coming from all over the world. They're coming from all over the world. Mexicans are not coming across the border in the numbers that they used to. So when you see these caravans and all that, there's no Mexicans in those caravans.
Hey guys, John, I know you're into knives. What is your holy grail knife? Fuck, I guess I have them. I don't know. I stopped looking at them. I don't look at knives, because when I look at knives, I buy knives. The last year at Blade Show, I literally did not walk around Blade Show. I didn't leave. Normally I go out and I look and I end up fucking coming back with tons of knives, or I trade shit for knives. I didn't leave the booth other than to go piss, but one time. I went over and talked to Mick and Dwayne, and I went over to Microtech to get knives for everybody that went to Blade Show with us. I didn't make a single purchase at Blade Show last year.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
So I don't know. I have a lot of knives.
Josh Lee got me an Auto Protec collab that's an auto, it's an
When
auto.
did you get that?
When they first came out, I've had it. That's kind of the knife I carry the most, is that auto knife.
That one I was fucking with last night.
I changed pants, so it's sitting on the floor in my other pants.
Josh sent me a JW, one of my knives.
Uh-huh.
He sent me. So that's pretty cool. Skully, you already answered it. Guy that had a gay mayor ruining his area. That's strange. Gay police is wrecking Colorado too. I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, there's a mayor. I think the mayor from Oregon who's running for president. He's
A gay guy?
he's a gay guy, and somebody said that guy's. Here's the thing.
I don't give a shit if you're gay. Why do we know it though? We only know it because you fucking told us.
Well, it's because it's his platform. That's what he's running on. The fact that he's gay, because you have to be intersect, whatever the fuck the Democrats call it, in order to be viable. You can't just be a regular person and to run on the Democratic Party. Here's an interesting fact, and I don't know. I mean, it may be the same way with the Republicans, but go ahead and look at Waters' fucking district. Looks like shit everywhere. The fucking Democrats. It's amazing that there is no place where Democrats have taken over where you go, this is a model of success. This is the way all our cities should run. There is none of them where you go, this is exactly how our city should run. The fucking idiot that is running New York City, can't think of his name off the top of my head, just did two things. So the idiot that is running New York City did two things. One, they're going to ban hot dogs.
New York style hot dogs?
They're going to ban hot dogs in New York City. Why? Not because hot dogs are bad for you. They're going to ban them because hot dogs contribute to global warming. So no more hot dogs. The other thing he just said that
what about hamburgers? They're cooked the same way.
I guess hamburgers will be okay. The other thing that this fucking brilliant idiot just said is they are pushing forth legislation right now in New York City. Think about this. New York City. No more buildings can be built in New York City with windows and steel.
Why?
Because it contributes to global warming.
So what are they going to build them with?
Cardboard and fucking, I don't know, twigs. You guys are going to be out there putting mud on the front of your house.
You're not going to be able to look at the Statue of Liberty anymore without paying
no more
a
windows.
fee.
You fucking, all these big cities that they keep wanting you to move to are crumbling. They are crumbling. They are falling under the infrastructure. It's just like when fucking Donald Trump trolled all the fucking left and said, "Hey, guess what? I'm shipping all these immigrants to your guys' sanctuary city so you can take care of them." There's not a fucking single sanctuary city that is run by Democrats where the Democrats came out and said, "Send them. Go ahead and bring them. We are going to accept them into our sanctuary city because we're better than you." Not a single one. They all said the same thing.
So he's not sending them?
I don't know. I mean, it's logistically, it's a big.
I just saw something about some people in charge in California are launching a big hearing as to why the gas prices are so high in California.
Yes, the dummy who runs the state of California, the governor of California, because he's a fucking dummy, is like, why are gas prices so high in California?
What is it, $9 a gallon or something?
No, it's not. It's they're running around just under $5. It's not super expensive. I mean, it's kind of same as when we were there.
We got 2 states out of California, gas prices.
Yeah, it's because of taxes, you fucking morons. And it's the worst part about it is
less than 10% of your at the pump price is the actual cost of fuel.
I don't have a problem with if you want to put a 10-cent tax on my fuel because you want to repair roads. I don't have a problem with that.
That money has to go
but
there.
That money better goddamn be in every square foot of road.
They can't account for where any of it. It all commingles.
They commingle it and they fucking spend it on shit that has nothing to do with what that tax was approved for.
Same with all your school taxes. Do y'all have a suggestion for off-body carry? I could fit a Glock 17, SOE adjustable holster, spare mag, flashlight, and maybe a medical kit, mainly for when I can't carry on the body without looking like a gun bag. The BBD bag will do it. The active shooter bag will do it. Our diaper bag will do it. Shit, we've got a bunch of shit. Just get on the website and look. We've got photos of bags with exactly Jeff has a BBD bag that he's got all that shit in.
Yeah, it is a BBD bag. I was thinking of the fucking...
I think
it'll all fit in the BBD bag.
I think the Catholic Church wanted some Jewish lightning to happen. They moved all the precious items, example, splinter of Jesus' cross and other famous objects, miraculously 2 weeks before, due to new construction. Not the riots in the street, according to the church, same day in Free Press report, their PR people, cash grab, more likely separating fools from their money. Thanks, SOE and crew.
They actually had firefighters and clergy that were going in and pulling stuff out of that building while it was on fire.
Bad Goy, how dare you speak?
The interesting thing, the thing you should ask yourself is, one of the things that I saw that they pulled out of the church, is the crown of thorns. So you're telling me that the church in France has the crown of thorns?
It was on Jesus' head.
It's just like the Spear of Destiny. If you look up the Spear of Destiny within the Catholic Church, there are 3 churches within the Catholic hierarchy that say that they have the Spear of Destiny.
That's the one they pierced Jesus with.
There can only be one. Come on, what's going on there? Why are we making fake
shit? It's an old city slang term. I didn't invent it. Wish I could claim it.
We're over 2 hours.
Either way, it was enjoyable. I'm trying to keep up with the other sharp communicators. You're welcome. That's it. And then we have today's that I plan to leave that one tomorrow. It is now 6:46, so we've been going for an hour and 46 minutes. Actually, a little less than that. All right.
Later, haters.
What?